Keep going. I need you on the harmony. that you're getting this into your ear. Here we go. Join us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So last night, a group of us, a few hundred actually, gathered both in person and online as a way to mourn and to begin to heal together. We expressed our doubts, our fears, our worry. And in a way, I woke up this morning a little bit lighter than I was yesterday afternoon. There was, for me at least, a little piece of catharsis to be able to be with community, to be able to express what was going on, to be able to mourn. There were a lot of tears in this room. And that's the power of community. Community allows, when we are together, for us to just understand each other, to get each other in a way that doesn't necessarily need words. As I've passed congregants this week, we're able to look at one another and nod and just get what's going on. And to feel understood is one of the most profound experiences, in part because it's the antidote to the loneliness that often comes when hatred in the world is targeted either at you or at your people. And we are a room who just gets it. We get one another, and we're here for one another. And Shabbat can be that chance to be in a room singing a light for one another. Now, the timbre and the tone of tonight is going to be a little bit different than last night in the sense that two things are true. The first is that if you are a mourner, and the Jewish people are collectively mourners, you actually suspend mourning formally on Shabbat in order to bring in the joy of that day. And the second being, and I mentioned this yesterday, that according to Jewish law, when a funeral procession and a wedding procession reach the same intersection, you always let the wedding procession go first, which means opportunities for joy take preference over the reflection of loss. So what that means is that we're blessed enough to have Misha and Ketty here all the way from Tbilisi, Georgia. And so even though we're going to have moments that are about Israel, and we're going to take time and pray and reflect, we're also going to take time to hear about the amazing community the two of them are building and have built in Tbilisi, and get a chance to hear two amazing worldwide Jewish leaders and scholars who have traveled thousands of miles to be with us. And I want to formally say, this Shabbat, welcome to you, even though I've said it from the Bima already. We can't wait to have you here. We can't wait to learn from you. And honestly, we can't wait to eat the food you made today. So with that, just a few announcements before we formally begin. The first is hopefully everyone grabbed a prayer book. If you need an usher, Larry Westreich, our VP of Religious Living, is helping to make sure everybody has what they need. We've got large print prayer books as you walk in. Hearing assisted devices are in the office right on the right. If you need the bathroom, it's outside to the right, though all gender and handicap accessible bathrooms are through the back of the office or downstairs. If for some reason tonight we need an emergency exit, of course there's the exit you came in, but notice there's an exit here, and if you walk through the doors in the back, there's another exit as well. And finally, I know we've got some guests here, people who have joined us out of solidarity, who just didn't know what else to do but to be in our community tonight. And first of all, we want to say thank you for coming. But also we want you to know, if you're new to a service, sometimes just simply clapping along or humming along is enough. And if you see someone who's feeling a little lost, don't be shy about leaning over and helping them know where we are in the prayer book or on the page. So speaking of the fact that Shabbat has joy to it, we have a very joyous occasion tomorrow, as Alana Bass is going to become formally bat mitzvah and read from the Torah. And so I want to call her and her mom up as together we get ready to light our candles. We're on page 2 and 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner להדליק נר של Shabbat.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikarom lema'aseh bereishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. Well done. Yishar kochech.
All right. You can take a seat. So in a moment, we're going to move into Shalom Aleichem, which is on page 24. And I just want to make mention about the fact that tonight, when possible, we're choosing melodies from our repertoire that are by Israeli composers as a way to make sure that we bring a little bit of that spirit of Israel into our service tonight. So page 24 by an Israeli composer whose last name is Brazil, Shalom Aleichem.
Probably more like Brasil.
Yes.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon,
ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. מועכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Let's hear you. צאתכם לשלום.
צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
שלום עליכם.
שלום עליכם, מלכי השרת, מלכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש
הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We jump back in our prayer book now, page 10, Yedid Nefesh.
ידיד נפש.
Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman. Meshoch Avedecha El Ritzonecha. Meshoch Avedecha Yananai El Ritzonecha. Yarut Avdecha Kemo Ayal Ishtachave Elai Yananai El Muladarecha. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman. Meshoch Avdecha El Ritzonecha. Meshoch Avdecha Yananai El Ritzonecha.
Page 20.
Lecha dodi likat kala yananai b'nei Shabbat nekabela yidai lecha dodi likat kala yananai b'nei Shabbat nekabela shamor v'zachor v'diburecha ishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemu tiferet v'li techila. Let's hear you. Lechad kala yananai b'nei Shabbat nekabela yidai lechad dodi likat kala yananai b'nei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha ki mekor ha-beracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila lechadoti l'kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabelai yairai lechadoti l'kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabelai. Verse number 5, Hitoreri. Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Kiva ore, Uri, 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 Shir daveri, Kevod Adonai, Alai. Let's hear you. Lechadoti lirat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabelai, yalalai, lechadoti lirat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabelai. We rise together, verse 9.
Shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala. Yalalai, yalalai, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, yai lechadoti likrat kalai, yalalai, yalalai, b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lechadoti lechadoti likrat kalai, yalalai, yalalai, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, yai lechadoti likrat kalai, yalalai, yalalai, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing, page 28, Baruch Hu.
Yai, yalalai, yalai, lai, lai, yai, yalalai, lai, yalalai. Together.
Yai, nai, nai, yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, 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 nai.
Yalalai, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lalai.
Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai.
Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We're seated together. Page 31. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch ata Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim. going to invite us to turn our eyes to the screen.
We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by hands that even when we are too embittered to hear.
Together, we are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting, 'cause we are
loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
One more time, we are loved.
We are loved,
loved,
loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
Oh,
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
ואהבתך לתסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 34.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. Together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם בארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 41. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Page 40. מי כמוך באל אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, וכהים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו. Let's hear you. אדוני לא לעולם ועד, אדוני לא לעולם ועד. One more time on כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 42.
Start this melody with a lullaby. And we just keep repeating throughout it, Lishalom. May I find my way to feeling peace in here as I lie down. Nai, 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 nai,
Yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai, yai nai nai.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום,
לשלום, לשלום, לשלום,
לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים לשלום.
Together. לשלום, לשלום, לשלום.
na 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 na
Yai nai nai, 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 yai nai nai.
ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
In a moment, we're going to move first into our Adonai Sefat Taitiv Tach, pray out loud, and then silently through page 62. But we'll take a break from those Israeli melodies with a few American peppered in. And we're going to do a special melody that's actually Georgian. Do you want to say a word about it?
I for sure do. Because when we visited for the first time, Ketty and Misha and Benny and a lot of other dear friends, I was taught my first Georgian Jewish melody. Certainly the first ever written for a liberal minyan, that's for sure, and by a woman, of course. And I will teach it to you tonight in Georgian and in English and in Hebrew, but you already know the melody because we started it tonight with that melody. So it goes this way. Yai na nai, nai na nai, nai 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 nai, yai na nai, nai na nai, nai 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 nai, Adonai, Adonai.
We rise.
Sefatai, tiftach. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Here it is. Upalman chmertma gamigo bageni rata vadido misidi deva. In English, eternal God, open my lips, thou my mouth may declare your glory. Yadadai, dadai, yai, dadai, yai, dadai, yai, dadai, yai, dadai, yai, dadai, yai, dadai.
We continue in silence.
I can't even kind of hear the melody. O se shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel,
ואמרו, אמרו, amen.
We sing Ose Shalom again.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו ואמרו אמרו amen. Anya ida 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 la 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 ida ida ya la 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 ida ya la la ida la 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 ida ya la la ida la la ida ida ya ida la 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 ida ida ya la 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 ida ya la la ida la la ida ya la la ida la la ida Yose shalom עושה שלום במרומיו והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Amen, amen, amen.
Over the next number of weeks, however long it takes, we're going to read the names of some of the over 100 captives who are in Gaza. I have a list here, and though I can't read every name, we'll hold a cross-section each time that we come together, with the hope that very soon we won't need to read this list. And then I'm going to recite a traditional prayer that's existed since the early Middle Ages in Judaism for freeing captives, a prayer that was rewritten when the state of Israel was founded specifically for those captives in our homeland. Yafa Adler, age 85. Aviv Asher, age 3. Amiram Cooper, age 85. David Cuneo, age 33. Tomer Eliaz, age 17. Hirsch Goldberg Pollen, age 23. Yael Haran, age 3. Erez Calderon, age 12. Eldad Katsir, age 47. Bar Cooperstein, age 21. Sifra Noy, age 70. Chaim Pearl, age 79. Nadav Popplewell, age 51. Margalit Silberman, age 63. Moran Stella Yanai, age 40. To them we offer these words. Misha Berach. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron, David, and Solomon, bless and protect and guard the members of the Israel Defense Forces, missing in action or held captive, and other captives among our brethren, the whole house of Israel, who are in distress or captivity, as we, the members of this holy congregation, pray on their behalf. May the Holy One, blessed be God, have compassion on them and bring them out from darkness and the shadow of death. May God break their bonds, delivering them from distress and bring them swiftly back to their family's embrace. Give thanks to Adonai for God's loving kindness and for the wonders God does for the children of humanity. May there be fulfilled in them the verse, those redeemed by Adonai will return. They will enter Zion with singing, and everlasting joy will crown their heads. Gladness and joy will overtake them, and sorrow and sighing will flee away. As together we say, Amen. We rise together for the prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sor Yisrael v'go'aleh, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Geulatenu. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. As together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Please join me on page 253 as we have the opportunity, as each time we gather together, to offer that Mishaberak for those in need of healing, of body, mind, and soul. And I'll look around the room and you can add as many names as you would like to. You'll see a big list of names that are up on the screen as well in a moment. Mishaberach avotenu imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen. Mishaberach avotenu mekor abracha may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I want to reflect for a second before I call up our two amazing speakers, Misha and Ketty, about one of the reasons, at least I think, that it hit so hard this week when Israel was attacked in the way that it was. And in addition to the bloodshed and the stories and how heartbreaking they were, and the fact that Israel holds a special place in our hearts specific to that land and that people, there's something also to be said about the fact that all Jews are connected by some kind of force that it's hard to explain. And that as much as we often talk about this connection between Israel and America are just two such places in the world where we feel this instant kinship with other Jews. Our tradition tells us, Kol Yisrael aravim ze bazeh, that every Jewish person is in a way responsible for the fate of one another. And I've talked a lot from the Bima about the fact that the word Erev in Hebrew actually means guarantor, which means that just like when many of us were first moving to the city and we had to get our parents to co-sign our lease, to help us if we defaulted on that lease, the Jewish people, in a way, are co-signers for all of one another, which means that when one of them struggles, it's our struggle too. When one of them grieves, it's our grieving too. When one of them is pained, it's our pain too. And we need to do what we can to swoop in to help because their problems are our problems. Now that feels especially acute when it comes to Israel. And just like the medieval poet Yehuda Halevi famously said, our hearts are in the east, but we are in the west. Our hearts really are also anywhere where there is a Jewish community. We've probably all had that experience of going to some foreign country and finding the one or two Jews that we never thought we were going to run into. There is, and they belong to your congregation, yes. There is a sense of cohesion and connection, such that when I talk to our high school students in 10th grade, and we outline the different kind of modalities of what it means to be Jewish, right? Judaism is religion, Judaism is culture, Judaism is nation. Judaism is family. The idea that every Jewish person, whether or not they were born Jewish or not, whether or not we've ever met them or not, whether or not they live near us or not, we see them almost like a cousin. And when we meet them, we have that same kind of instant connection that we would to anyone who we would meet that is related to us. It's the reason when I go to Israel that I feel like, should I ever need it, strangers would make room on their floors and couches to ensure that I could come there if I ever faced a problem. That's the way that Israelis view Americans. That is hopefully the way Americans view Israelis, but it's also the way that we need to view our worldwide Jewish community. And that's why when Israel suffered, it broke my heart so much, because my story is wrapped up in their story so deeply that it is mine. But my story is also wrapped up in the story of Jews in France, Jews in Germany, Jews in Brazil, and yes, Jews in Tbilisi, Georgia. And so when we got the chance, and when Cantor Greenberg really got the chance to spearhead this relationship with the community in Tbilisi, to train the first crop of adult B'nai Mitzvah in this liberal congregation, to make sure that women could read Torah for the first time ever in the history of the country, we jumped on that because we felt that bond with you, even though we had not yet met you, just by the nature of this Jewish connection, which is so deep. And as we've gotten to know your community, we've only felt that more. And so it's our pleasure to invite you up to the Bima tonight to teach us a little something. And I can say that Misha and Ketty got a chance to talk to our 10th through 12th graders earlier this week. I stopped one of them in the car on the way out the parking lot. I said, so how were they? And this girl was like, they were so inspiring. And so prepare to be inspired by their story tonight. And it's my pleasure to call them up to the Bima now.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you all for this opportunity to be with your beautiful congregation in such a hard times for Israel and the Jewish people. We know all the events that are going on in Israel, and I believe that we, the communities outside of Israel, have our mission in these events, and we need to be as strong as possible for Israel, for the people there, to support them as much as we can. So let me tell you about my small country, which I'm from, Georgia. As we refer it, Sakartvelo. And I will tell you a little about our Jewish community in there. So 26 centuries ago, we know the first Jewish temple was destroyed, and the first Jews settled in Georgia near its old capital, Mtsketa. From this period starts a huge history of Georgian Jews, and in some way we were blessed. The Georgian Jews community in Georgia were blessed because we never had any problem with local population. We never had problem with Georgians. We never had any anti-Semitic waves against us. And for 26 centuries we had peace until, of course, some country invaded our small country, which was firstly Russian Empire, then it gone to the Soviet Union. And for 26 centuries, the life of the Georgian Jewish community really resembled with the history of Georgia itself. It was a cut-off country, a Christian country, cut off all other Christian countries by a huge Muslim world, which really resembles to Israel. And the Georgian Jewish community was also cut off from other communities. And it some kind made the Georgian Jewish community really closed. It was really orthodox, it was traditional, and after time, when the Soviet Union came, it really affected, of course, our lives, it affected our moral, it affected our lifestyle. And I'm the generation of the post-Soviet Union. So I was born in 1990, and we know that officially Soviet Union ended its history in 1991. And from this period, we have our, let's say so, free democratic community, but it didn't evolve like this. I was attending like the Jewish yeshiva, the Orthodox yeshiva for 3 years while I was in Georgia, the Tbilisi yeshiva. And while I was it was my first steps in the Jewish world. And at that time, I had a lot of questions that I didn't have an answer on, because we had this really traditional community, and asking questions wasn't everything a good thing. When we were asking why we are doing this or why we are doing there, it's because your fathers did it, it's because your grandfathers did it, and it's because it was like this for generations and generations. I saw people praying in the great synagogue, and they were like in their 80s or even in their 90s, and they didn't know what they were praying for. They didn't know what the prayers meant, because they didn't speak Hebrew, but they knew how to tell the prayers, but they didn't know what the prayers meant. They just was nodding and saying amen, just they was taught, and that's it. Yeah, just automatically. And after this, I was having this distance from the Orthodox community more and more. And this is when my life connected with the International Jewish Student Organization, Hillel, which you know that is from America. And this is when it was my first touch with other Jewish streams in my life. Streams for progressive Judaism and conservative Judaism. And you know, I was shocked. It was like a fresh air that we got with other students of Hillel. And we saw that some doors were opening for us, and we were just dreaming. We were dreaming if or someday maybe there would be a community like this in our country. And you know, years passes, nothing changed, and the Jewish community were getting smaller and smaller, because Georgia is not the most progressive country in the region. It's not the most economically significant country in the region. And we had a lot of young people going from the community just because they weren't heard. And that's it, nothing more. And there was, let's say, one day we had this great ambassador of Israel in Georgia, whose name is Ran Gidor, and he invited us to a project which was the Peace Project. It was a project for developing and space for prayer, pluralistic space for prayer between Muslim, Christian, and Jewish communities. And it sounded just magically. It was something that we never believed in. And it was a huge step from nothing to something so open. And of course, we were agree, we were for it. And from this time, we connected with other open-minded students and open-minded people in our community. And we started to make this happen. And on some step, we had like this opportunity to connect with your congregation, the congregation of Ner Tamid. And it was so strange for us because most of us, we weren't young, and because of the reality in which we were, our parents weren't too religious, and we didn't have bar and bat mitzvah in our, like, when we should supposed to have it at 12 or 13 years. And we really thought that it was a lost opportunity, and nobody in the traditional community was offering us something like another. And we really thought that that's it. It's lost opportunity. And after time, we learned from Ner Tamid and from our beloved Rabbi Golan Beichorin, who unfortunately couldn't come with us because of the situation in Israel. We learned that we can have it. That it's not something that is impossible. Everything is possible if you really want it. Everyone has their own choice, their own view of Judaism. And this is something interesting that they taught me in the Orthodox yeshiva, that the only thing that refers the creations of God, the human from other creations of God, is the right of choice. The right of choice is the only thing that we have and nobody else have. And this is what we didn't have in Georgia. We didn't have the right of choice. And after time, we had these great mentors from your congregation who helped us to read from Torah. We have our and Kathy's mentor, dear Morty, thank you for everything. And we made it. We had our long way for it, but after time and with support of our family that weren't religious, but they saw that we wanted it and they were with us, with support of our family, finally in May, in 26th of May, which was the day of independence of Georgia, we opened the Peace Synagogue and we had the first bar and bat mitzvah in the Peace Synagogue, and it was significant because we had the first bat mitzvah and the first reading of Torah by a woman from 26 centuries of our community's history. And here I want to give this microphone to my wife, who was one of the first women who read from Torah in our country, and she will, okay, she has her own microphone, okay. Sorry. And she will continue about what happened next, what pressure, what obstacles we had in the way, and how it influenced her, influenced our course, and let's hear from her.
Thank you for listening us. It is very important for us. And sorry for my English. I try to speak. No, so I go. That you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, as Misha said, I and 5 women. We were the first woman who read Torah before people, before audience, and it was very excited, really. I realized this after when everything was finished, after our bat mitzvah, and it was very excited moment when we gather under the talit, under the big talit, and when I mentioned tears on the eyes of Rabbi Golan, and it was a very, very great moment in my life, and I think that I never forgot this moment. Yes. And how is, if you ask me how it was and how it is, it's very, very emotional, and I'm proud of myself, but it was very, very, very hard for me. I had very hard and I had very hard summer, because after our bat mitzvah, after our bnei mitzvah and opening of new synagogue, we have very big problem with our community, because, as Misha said, our community is very, very traditional by Jewish side, and traditional and very, very specific by side that our community is, and our society in Georgia is very post-Soviet thinking. And yes, it is very, very hard for us, for our generation, and for new generation like Penny's age and another new generation people. Yes, because our Soviet thinking society tried to kill every progressive, every light, and every something that is new. And of course, our Jewish community is like this. Our Jewish community, traditional Jewish community leaders, most of them are the generation of Soviet Union. Maybe not most, maybe every organization leaders and rabbis and gabbais. They are all under 16 years old, and of course, they for them there is very, very shocked situation that women read Torah before so many people loud, and it's very, very strange for them that in synagogue women and men are praying together. This is nonsense for our traditional community, because maybe you know that in our Tbilisi synagogue, and maybe in all traditional community synagogue, women pray separately in the upside, and men down. Yes, and many of them said that, oh, why so people that some 20 or 25 years old made bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, they made so many Facebook posts. We had so many Facebook social media bullying, or also I don't know, everything. Threats, yes, threats. We received we received messages in. Especially, I received some messages that many people said that, oh, are you thinking that you are cool, that you made bat mitzvah or some progressive things? You are not cool. You are you are not cool.
Don't say it here.
Yes, and it was really, really hard for me and for my family. Yes, and because of my kids, I can. I think that yes, I'm powerful woman, and I can make if I want. Yes, and the worst things for me, the worst side of this problem was problem in my job in Hillel. You know that Hillel is a non-religious, maybe liberal and progressive organization, and first situation of progressive and liberal community, Jewish community, I saw in Hillel when I gathered with other Hillel members in Ukraine, in the United States, in the United States, when I was in some Hillel trainings, I saw first women rabbis with kippah, with talit, and I was shocked, and I wanted to move everything in our community. It was 7 years ago, and when I was in Middle Asia, I had some training, also some training with organization Moshe House. I saw at first time my life, I saw first Reform Rabbi, and he said, "Oh, can you make some Reform community in Georgia?" It was also 7 years ago, and I said, "Oh no, are you crazy? Because it's impossible." And after 7 years, we can make it. Yes. Yes, the worst things in this situation was Hillel problem from Hillel, from my beloved job. I was working in Hillel during 10 years, and it was my family. It was my life. I met my husband first time in Hillel, and our children grow up in Hillel. Yes, and unfortunately, my boss from Hillel, my boss, my regional boss, cannot support me, because he said that your community is the main, your community opinion is the main, and you must to make some peace with your community, or Hillel will shut down in Tbilisi, in Georgia, or you must live with your staff Hillel. And we have some conversation, our staff member, and we decided to leave Hillel, because Hillel, we think that Hillel must be working in Tbilisi. And we leave Hillel, and I choose to make progressive movement in Georgia. It's very, very important, not for our community. As I said, many members of another non-Jewish organization, they said that it's very important for our country, which is young, and people of our country, many people of our country want to make our lovely Georgia more progressive and more lively. Yes, and we decided to make, because of so many threats and so many problems and many tears and so many hard situation, we decided to move in the right side, in the liberal side, and we decided to make our new community. And our new community was started working from September, yes, and yes.
To explain in her dedication to Hillel, when we had our first son, Benny, we went to the emergency hospital from Seder Pesach. We were making Pesach, and we practically stood up because her waters broke, and we gone right to the hospital. And the same was from our youngest. She's in Tbilisi with her grandparent Esther. We gone from the Seder to Bishvat right to the hospital. So both of the childs were pretty much born in Hillel on evenings of some Seder.
And I want to say a very, very important thing for me, that when your congregation, Ner Tamid, were in Tbilisi, and parallelly this situation was started. And I remember that at the evening after your very, very hard trip in Georgia, Georgia is mountain country, and every trip is enough hard. I remember that Rabbi Golan gathered your community member, and he said he tried to solve my problem. And I want to compare this situation of my Hillel Hillel port. That I was in July. I was in Chisinau, and we had one of gathering our Hillel staff member, and every day I'm waited when my boss made some thing like Rabbi Golan, but he unfortunately he did not. And after that, I decided to leave Hillel because
it was impossible to continue. And to clarify, all the staff of Hillel left their jobs because they did not want to go over the rules and to work with her community, because this was one of the choices that the regional office of Hillel gave Katie and her employment. First choice was to make peace with the traditional community and don't have any relationship with the progressive community, to just forget everything. The second one was to leave the job and go for yourself. And the third was to terminate the activity of Hillel in Georgia forever. And the staff of Hillel loved Hillel so much that they just could not take it under the risk of to terminate Hillel, and they just leave. Like 5 people leave their jobs from Hillel, and we are now all the co-founders of the new organization, which we made in the late end of August. Our community name is Progressive Judaism Center Door Le Door, and we have like a batch of things. In September, we won some grant from Schusterman community, and we made an outdoor Sukkot for our members. We already have 35 plus members, and we're growing and growing. And we have people, some students from the United States. They are from the conservative of progressive communities, about 5 people. They didn't have their place in the traditional synagogue.
They can't.
And they came to us.
Yeah.
We just had a huge bad information from Tbilisi yesterday, when there was a group of Israelis hiking in the mountains of Georgia, and they didn't have an internet access for some time. And 2 days ago, they returned to a town named Kutaisi. It's the second city in Georgia by the population, and they heard about the events that went in Israel. And one of the members realized that one of his relatives was killed during this action. And they hurried up to Tbilisi. They changed their tickets for the upcoming tickets to Tel Aviv. And they wanted to go, of course, in the evening to the synagogue to have Kaddish. And they weren't let into the synagogue. They were pushed out of it because they didn't fit the standards of our community. And they even asked an opportunity to pray in the yard of the synagogue, and they were rejected for it. And when they went outside the street, we have this street where there is a synagogue, a church, and a mosque really, really close to each other. And the people from the church came out to just check what is going on. And when they told them, the people from church invited them to church to make a mess for the souls of the people that died. Yeah. So this is why we think that it's really, really important to have like this community, a choice for other future, for our children, for ourselves. And your support is really, really important for us, because in the days that Katie told us when we gathered the members of Ner Tamid, it was the only support that we got.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything more.
And every time when I'm in other countries, and I am involved some Jewish communities activities, I realize that I'm the child of the big, huge Jewish world. And when I returned in Georgia, I think I feel like without mother and without parents, like
An orphan.
Or yes, thank you. It's nonsense. I made a very important Facebook post 2 months ago, and in this post I said that in none of community of the Jewish world. Yes, like this happens, and we try to change the situation, and I'm sure that we can, yes, because around us there is so many young, progressive-minded people that think so. But before Peace Synagogue, we have not some another synagogue in Tbilisi, in Georgia, and now I think that now we are lucky that we have Peace Synagogue and we have your community. Because
You really do. You really do have our community. Misha and
Thank
Ketty,
you so much.
When Misha and Ketty were with our teenagers a couple of days ago, I said, so tell them what's the dream, what's your vision? And Misha just sort of looked around this room and said, I'm looking at it.
You have such wonderful teens. This is, I want to say,
We do
you
have excellent
wow,
teenagers.
yes,
We
your
have
teenagers
excellent
are
teens.
great.
We do.
And when Cantor Meredith asked me like what, I was like this is what the
these
future
people.
that we are seeing for ourselves.
Yeah.
A self-dedicated, free, democratic, liberal Jew teenagers that will make their future. And as
Amen.
Yes, amen.
We are so grateful that you have allowed us to be part of the journey with you. It's such an astonishing and courageous step into this world, and we Ner Tamid and the folks that really rallied around the B'nai Mitzvah class and this group, this fledgling community, we changed the conversation together, all of us, because it was until we came and visited, was sort of like invisible progressive Judaism there, and it became visible, and it became challenging, but the first is always hard.
It is.
Yep, the firsts are always hard.
We're going to get a chance. Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
We're going to get a chance to keep asking you questions and keep talking. Just know, by the way, you have a feast in front of you. Cantor Greenberg told me that together you were going to basically like do an oneg. So I was like, okay, yeah, there'll be some cheeses and stuff like that. Hopefully you didn't eat dinner. So stick around. We'll hear from you later. And
Thank you both so much.
Thank you both so much.
And you are all invited to travel with us for our second B'nai Mitzvah celebration, which will be this coming June 28th to July 4th. They're waiting for the best food you've ever eaten.
Yes.
And the best wine. So come tomorrow evening if you want to know more at 8 p.m. We're going to talk all about that. Thank you both so much.
And we're going to rise together, page 282, as we move toward the concluding section of our service.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishbechot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We're seated together. Our thoughts now go to those who we've loved and who we've lost. This Shabbat, we recall the following individuals: Jennifer Amlin, Samuel Burles, Judith Cohn, Mayor Cohen, Marvin Davis, James Egan, Molly Fink, Bernard Meyer Fritz, Edward Gates, Morris Ginsburg, Solomon Goldstein, Saul Grossbein, Benjamin Grossman, Aaron Heller, Gordon Hellman, Beatrice Fisher Hirsch, Faye Jacobs, Paul Kane, Dina Crames, Harold Lieberman, Richard Lowen, Dan Mandel, James Massinio, Rebecca Mosenkis, Leonard Napick, Ruth Neckers, Abraham Portnoff, Charles Potters, Mickey Salonon, Howard Beau Chambléon, Nathan Silverlust, Henry Stein, Simon Strickler, Larry Weiss, and Gertrude Wolf. And those who are in their Shiva and Shloshim periods of mourning: Alan Oliner, father of Carolyn Oliner; Jesse Safeman, uncle of Leanne Bass; Marvin Horowitz, father of Amy Horowitz; and Irving Baracus, cousin of Emily Baracus. In addition, I'll invite you to rise and share the names of anyone who may not have been on this list or who you are in your one-year period of mourning for. And I'll name, though I can't name all of them, the number of 1,300, the lives lost on Saturday night's massacre. We join together, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach yirteh v'yamlech malchuteh, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayed l'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'elam im kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiram bi'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'ko Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'ko Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. So, I don't want to keep us long with announcements, because if you are crunched for time, I'd rather you stay and eat a little something. And so I'm just going to say tomorrow morning services are at 10:30, Torah study at 8:30, and chanting circle at 9 a.m. And I want to congratulate the Bass family who is going to celebrate their Simcha tomorrow. Read your emails, read your Igeret. We got a lot of classes launching. We've got great speakers coming soon on Friday night. So I just want to tell you, you'll miss things if you don't read your email, so please do. And we can't wait to learn with you, to pray with you, to volunteer with you over the next few weeks.
Amen, amen. You might have said that services tomorrow morning begin at 10:30, which they don't.
I said 10.
Okay, I was just double checking my ears because I don't want you showing up at 10:30. We are but all good. We're gonna continue together. I mean, we're gonna end our tefillah together, but please come and eat and have a bite of some of the supra that Misha and Keti and many other people in our congregation helped this morning. We're going to end with the words of Oseh Shalom once more. Can't pray for peace enough times. And this melody, for me, this is always Israel, this melody.
Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael,
ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen.
Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Make sure to meet someone new and make sure to grab a bite to